Hello, Namaskar and good afternoon. Welcome to NCERT's live interactive session. This is Simran Singh. And viewers, you are all watching us on PMeVIDYA channel number 7. You can also connect with us through our YouTube channel that you all know. It is NCERT Official. So regularly we come up with certain special sessions for all our viewers to enhance your understanding about diverse fields and diverse subjects. So here for another half an hour we have a session of mathematics for class 7 students. So students from any other classes, if you have connected with us, then feel free to write down to us in the comment section of NCERT Official. So the broad topic that we are going to discuss in this session is simple equations part 3. With that, I would like to mention that part 1 and part 2 of the same topic has been conducted by CIET NCERT. In case if you haven't watched our sessions, then you don't have to worry because all the links are available on our YouTube channel, that is NCERT Official. So, unfolding more details regarding today's topic, we have with us an expert. So, let me introduce her to you. In the conversation, we are joined by Ms. Gurpreet Bhatnagar. Namaskar, ma'am.
Namaskar, ma'am. Thank you for having me.
Good afternoon. I hope you are doing well.
Yeah, I'm doing very well. How are you doing? How are all our kids? And
of course, great. And I assume all the kids watching us out there, they must be doing great. Thank you for being a part of this conversation. Ma'am is currently serving as academic consultant and mathematics resource person for CBSE. So as you all know that there are certain mediums through which you can connect with us in our live interactive session. Here is a contact number that is flashing on your screens. So feel free to give us a call at 8800-440-559. Specifically mentioned before for all of you that this session is meant for class 7 students. But in case if you have any feedback to share or you are from any other class, you want to ask us something, so here is a mail ID also. dth.class7@ciet.nic.in. So Gurpreet ma'am, as today we are going to discuss about part 3 of simple equations. So in the first place, I would request you to please give us a brief of the previously conducted 2 sessions and then we can proceed with today's topic.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So as our viewers already know that this will be the third part of simple equations, chapter 7. This is also the end of this chapter where we will be doing practical situations and how simple equations can help us to solve those. So some fun questions, I have brought some little animation here or there, I have brought, so try to participate, answer and collaborate with us. But to give you a recap, we discussed rules of transposing in the previous part. We'll start with a revision of that. Just a quick recap so that we can have easy time solving the questions today.
Of course.
So are we ready?
Yeah, of course. I am ready.
So I would like to bring the notice to the slide now. Now, in this slide, the very first thing that we are going to do is about simple equations. What kind of rules did we learn in part 2 session? That's the previous session. We had learned there is a concept called equation, which has a left-hand side and a right-hand side. And after that, we learned some rules through the balancing scale that I was showing you in the previous session. So what did we learn from there? We learned that an equality holds or the equation stays balanced if we are adding the same non-zero number on both sides. Now, the equality also holds true when we subtract the same non-zero number. I am insisting on the non-zero because what's the fun of adding 0 or subtracting 0? So, if you subtract the same number from both the sides of equality sign, the balance still holds. Now, the third one we did was if we multiply by the same non-zero number on both sides of the equality, the balancing scale still stands balanced. And the last rule that we learned was if we divide both sides by a non-zero number again, we again have that the equality holds. So adding both sides by the same number, subtracting both sides by the same number, multiplying both sides by the same number and dividing both sides by the same number, but mind you, not a 0. Then in that case, the simple equation stays balanced. This is what we had learned, and the name for that is transpose. Now moving numbers or elements from one side of a simple equation to the other side. And these are the 4 techniques which we'll be using. So here I bring you the transposing rules. Now we need to know how to use them. Now that I know what all I can do, the 4 rules that we have just learned, how should we use them? Now for that, let me show you a very simple equation. Now this is one of the equations. Now if I was the child doing this question to find the value of x, how should I go about adding both sides, subtracting both sides? Should I divide both sides by 4 or should I subtract both sides by something? How should I do? Now for that, the simple thing you should see is, what if x was living in a house? Now he is also living in the house of 4x. That's 4 multiplied with x. Now there is a bigger house right outside. Now if I have to apply the rules of transposing on both sides, you should try to get inside these houses. How will you go inside? Of course, first you will have to open up the door of the first house. So in that case, you will be able to enter the house and knock on the door of 4x. Now open this door. How will you open it? If you divide this expression 4x by 4. But mind you, if you are dividing by 4 on both sides, then only the equality is used. And that's when we will land up at x. So this is how we do it. Another example so that you understand what we are doing. Here is another one. What if I have x divided by 2 plus 3 is equal to 26? How do I do questions like this? How do I apply my rules that I know? Again, focus on x, that's sitting in the little house. Then the bigger house is x by 2, and then the biggest house is this one. So you have to first enter the biggest room first. How will you do that? Of course, you will divide both sides by the number that you don't want. I hope you know what. Why don't you try to reply? Once you have entered there, you try to enter the second room. What is that room? That's x upon 2. If you want to enter this room, you will have to get rid of what? Of course not x, that's what you're trying to find. So what needs to go? 2. What is 2 doing? It is dividing. So how will you get rid of it? Of course you will multiply. And the minute you multiply this house by 2, the door will be open. And then we will read everything. समझ गए? एक और हो गई. अब ये थोड़ा सा टेढ़ी खीर लग रही है, बट दोबारा से घर बनाते हैं. पहला घर x पर, दूसरा घर 5x पर, तीसरा घर कहाँ लीजिएगा? Of course, you're absolutely right. It is 5x plus 2. And सबसे बड़ा घर 5x plus 2 upon 2. अगर आप इस घर में घुसना चाहते हैं तो सबसे पहले क्या करना पड़ेगा? बड़े घर में जो 2 डिवाइड कर रहा है उसके लिए आपको क्या करना पड़ेगा? मल्टीप्लाई. देखिए दरवाजा खुल गया. अब आप इस घर में घुसना चाहते हैं तो x तक पहुंचने के लिए आपको पहले किस पे जाना पड़ेगा? +2. अब +2 को हटाने के लिए आप क्या करेंगे? दोनों तरफ -2 करेंगे. समझ गए? और उसके बाद हम लोग जाएंगे उससे छोटे घर में. क्या है? 5x. 5x के घर में अगर x तक पहुंचना है तो आपको 5 को हटाना पड़ेगा. 5 क्या कर रहा है? मल्टीप्लाई. अगर वो x को मल्टीप्लाई कर रहा है तो आप उसको हटाएंगे कैसे? ऑफ कोर्स हम दोनों साइड को 5 से डिवाइड कर देंगे. सिंपल है ना? बस ऐसे ही ट्रांसपोजिंग रूल्स अप्लाई करेंगे और झटपट कुछ क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करते हैं. आइए सबसे पहला क्वेश्चन देखते हैं. आज हम क्या करने वाले हैं? We are going to apply transposing rules to solve simple equations. और ऐसी वैसी equations नहीं, real life equations. थोड़ा fun factor भी लाते हैं. तो word problems के ऊपर हम simple equations का काम करने वाले हैं. ये लीजिए आपके सामने पहला क्वेश्चन. There are 2 type of boxes having mangoes. Mango का सीजन है भाई. So mangoes के लिए ये मैंने 2 boxes, एक छोटा है, बड़ा है. अब क्वेश्चन बोल रहा है that each larger box contains 4 mangoes and the number of mangoes in the 8 small boxes. पहले तो मुझे अपने 8 boxes लेने चाहिए. अब ये नहीं पता ना कि ये छोटे छोटे boxes में mangoes कितने हैं. सब छोटे boxes में same number of mangoes हैं. तो क्योंकि हमें पता नहीं है कितने mangoes हैं, let's say each of these smaller boxes has x number of mangoes. If that is the case, how many mangoes do you have? X box and X mangoes in one box and 8 such boxes like that. Either you could go X plus X plus X 8 times, or faster would be, yes, 8X. Now the question is saying the larger box contains 4 more than the number of mangoes in 8 small. So, do you think this is right? The bigger box has 4 more than the number of mangoes in 8 small boxes. So 8 small boxes में कितने हैं? 8x. 4 more than that. That means 8x plus 4. अब चलते हैं आगे. The question is now saying each larger box contains some number of mangoes. Can you think of an equation? Can you make sense of how simple equations can be applied to make fun out of this question? So yes, you're absolutely right. It is 8x plus 4 is equal to 100. अब चलते हैं आगे. ये तो हो गई इक्वेशन. इक्वेशन बन गई तो आज तो हम उसको सॉल्व भी करके रहेंगे. तो लीजिए, we have to find the number of mangoes in the small box. How do we do that? First of all, let's get rid of the boxes. So my equation is 8x plus 4 is equal to 200. Now, whichever side has the unknown quantity x, focus on that and slowly start getting rid of, or let me say remove the numbers from that side to the other side, transposing. So what are we going to do? Firstly, we are going to subtract 4. But एक side से नहीं, दोनों side से. Remember the rule? And when I do that, what do I get? I get 8x is equal to, how much is 100 minus 4? Of course, 96. Now I see that to reach x, I will have to remove 8. Now what is 8 doing to x? It is multiplying. So if 8 needs to go away, what rule of transposing shall I apply? Of course. Divide both sides by which number? Did you say 8? Yes, you're absolutely right. And when you do that, what do you get? You get x is equal to 12. Now that's the answer to your question. What was x? Do you remember? The number of mangoes in a small box, one small box. So the number of mangoes in one small box is 12. How simple was that? Wasn't it fun? That is what we are doing today. Let's quickly go to another question. This is about Mona. Now Mona has lots of notebooks. What is she saying? She says Mona is subtracting thrice the number of notebooks that she has from 50. Okay, so I bring my 50 and then the number of books. Now we don't know how many books she has. So let me give it a variable's name. So the number of books Mona has is y. Now what is the first line of the question saying? It's saying Mona is subtracting thrice the number. So 3y. Subtracting, ये लीजिए 50 minus 3y. Now she's saying she finds the result to be 8. There you go. The equation is 50 minus 3y is equal to 8, where y stands for the number of notebooks she has. So you have to be very careful with which particular quantity or rupees or ages or weight or number of books, what should be taken as a variable. And after that, read the question very slowly, at least twice to make sense of it, and then form the equation. And once the equation is formed correctly, solving it is so easy. Don't we know our transposing rule? Just 4 rules and the whole chapter is ready. So here we start. I need to reach y, but I see a lot of numbers stopping me from doing that. First number I see that I need to remove is 50. Now 50 is positive. If it needs to go away, then I must subtract a number from both sides. What number? 50. And when you do that, what do you get? Of course you get the remaining part as minus 3y is equal to, now how did we get minus 42? 8 minus 50 is minus 42. Simple. Just remember your integers. Which sign shall have been put? So integers will also come into play now that we had done in class 6. So know your numbers well when you are solving a simple equation. आगे चलें? Now y तक पहुंचने के लिए एक और नंबर रास्ते में आ रहा है, वो है -3 और -3 y के साथ कर क्या रहा है? मल्टीप्लाई. सो अब उसका अपोजिट क्या होगा? अगर मल्टीप्लाई तो डिवाइड बोथ साइड्स बाय व्हिच नंबर? जिस नंबर को आप हटाना चाहते हैं. तो वी डिवाइड बोथ साइड्स बाय -3. तो हमारे पास क्या बचा? y is equal to, now hold on, again integers division, -42 divided by -3. First of all, negative divided by negative is positive, and 43 divided by 3 is 14. So be careful. Simple equations are very simple, but sometimes calculations can be a bit tricky. So be careful, but be very confident. And how do you become confident? By practicing. So when you are doing word problems, you have to be extra cautious. Firstly, to make the correct equation, and then to apply the right transposing rules, and then of course to take care of all fractions, rational numbers, plus sign, minus sign, division. So a lot of work goes into it, but it is fun, isn't it? So coming back to the question, so how many notebooks does Mona have? She has 14 notebooks. How is that? Do reply, do participate. Maths is fun only when you are also engaged. Now this is another question. So there was a teacher who took a class test. After checking the notebooks, she came to the class and she's telling the class that the highest marks obtained by a student is 7 more than twice of the lowest score in the class. A lot of confusion. She's talking about highest marks and lowest marks. She's not telling anything about what is the lowest marks, what is the highest marks. So you could choose any one of these scores to be the variable. But since the highest marks relation has been explained in terms of lowest marks, so चलिए lowest marks को ही variable लेके शुरू करते हैं. So let the lowest score of the test be x. The question is saying the highest marks are 7 more than twice the lowest. So what are you thinking? Of course, 2x plus 7. This is the highest score. What else? This information is all consumed. What more is given? Hold on. The teacher also announced that the highest score in the test is 87. So 2x plus 7 is 87. That's how simple it is. What is the lowest score in the test? So what are you supposed to find? Of course, x. So one of the tips I can give you is, whatever the question is asking you to find, try to take that as the variable. Now variable also come in many styles. X, Y, Z. If you're bored with that, maybe LML, maybe PQR. Try to avoid ABC, but why? You will learn that in the senior classes. For the time being, take any of the English alphabets, 26 of them, any one of them, but use the small English alphabet. That's what we use for lateral vowels, right? That's what we learned in class 6 algebraic expression. चलिए आगे चलते हैं. ये आपके लिए हो गया homework. Question 4. ये क्या है भाई? In a village, people, how good of them, they planted trees. So they planted 2 types of trees, fruit trees and non-fruit trees. Okay. Now the question is saying that the number of non-fruit trees is 2 more than 3 times the number of fruit trees. Okay. So what is related to what? The non-fruit trees is 2 more than 3 times the number of fruit trees. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? चलिए number of fruit trees को x ले लेते हैं. तो non-fruit trees कितने हुए? 2 more than 3 times. So 2 more than मतलब plus 3 times बोले तो 3x. What is the number of non-fruit trees if there are 77 non-fruit trees? Okay, my 7 non-fruit trees are 2 plus 3x. Now they are saying 77. There is my equation. 2 plus 3x is equal to 27. Are you having fun with maths? I hope so. ये क्वेश्चन भी आपके होमवर्क के लिए ट्राई जरूर कीजिएगा.
I'm sure that our viewers, the students watching us out there, they'll be trying out these questions as you have made the concept of simple equations really simple for them. I would like to bring it to your notice that in the conversation we are left by the last 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. Okay, so coming back to the question. Here is a riddle which is from your NCERT book only. The question is given in form of a riddle. Let's try this. I am a number, tell my identity. So missing number, we're gonna call you okay. After that, the second line of the riddle says, hit me 7 times over and add a 50. Okay, 7 times over, that means 7x, and add a 50 plus 50, 50. So 7x plus 50. The last line says, to reach the triple century, you still need a 40. That's the last line of the riddle. सेंचुरी तो पता है हमें, क्रिकेट तो हम पूरा देश खेलते हैं. सेंचुरी बोले तो 100 years. सेंचुरी बोले तो 100 years also. तो अभी के लिए ट्रिपल सेंचुरी, that means 100 plus 100 and another 100. But the riddle says you still need a 40. That means not 300, 40 less than 300. So my equation is 7x plus 50 is equal to 300 minus 40. ट्राई कीजिएगा, ये आपकी एनसीईआरटी बुक का क्वेश्चन है. ढूंढिएगा जरूर कहाँ पर है. चलते हैं एक और क्वेश्चन पे. Ismail is thinking of a number. Alright. Why? If he adds 19 to it. Okay, let's add 19 to it and divide the sum by 5. He will get A. Did you get it? I'm sure you did. What number did he think of it in the beginning? So, quickly get into solving this question. What should go away first? Plus 19 or division by 5? Think of the houses. Of course 5 must go. Since it's in division, we will multiply both sides by 5. And when you do that, be very, very careful. That's why we must practice fractions also. So I'm sure you know why 5 has gotten cancelled on the left hand side. And what do we get? Left hand side is only y plus 19, bye-bye to 5. And the right hand side is 8 into 5, which is a 40. Now it is time for 19 to go away. How will we do that? We subtract 19 from both sides, and when we do minus 19 on both sides, there you go. Y is sitting alone out in the open with nobody to disturb him. Y is equal to 29. So the number Ismail was thinking in the beginning is 21. Question 7. Find the number such that 1/4 of it is 3 more than 7. Now read it. And
ma'am, we'll try to make this the last question of our today's session.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'll try to do that. Find a number. So we are calling it Z. 1/4 of it, okay, is 3 more than 7. How simple is that? Just read and write. But your mind and pen must work together. This equation could also be thought like this. In your own time, pause this slide and think about it. How are these three equations similar to each other? Exactly the same, just looking a bit different. But अभी के लिए इसको जल्दी से solve करते हैं क्योंकि ज़्यादा time बचा नहीं है. जल्दी से 3 plus 7 करते हैं, which is a 10. Now Z is being controlled by division of 4, so I'll multiply both sides by 4, and when the 4 is removed from the left hand side because of cancellation, we get our answer Z is equal to 40. Now before I actually go, here is my last question. I promise you this is the last question. Now
Sure.
Pilu and Nilu are playing with marbles and Chotu is playing, watching them, just watching them, not playing, observing them. So Pilu says, I have lots of marbles. And Nilu says, I have 10 more marbles than what you have. अब ये सब कुछ होगा तो छोटू पीछे कैसे रहेगा? He says, twice of Pilu's marbles is 3 more than what Nilu has. अब ये question आपके लिए, how many marbles does Pilu have? Isn't it fun? With that, I close my teaching today, but this is one of the quotes that I leave you with, that maths is not a spectator sport. So you must keep playing. That means you must not give up. Try till you get the answers right. So thank you so much. This is it from my side, ma'am. Thank you.
I must say that was a beautiful way to conclude a session with a quote. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
For introducing the concept, and also I think we have come in and to this concept of simple equations part 3. So if you haven't watched our previous sessions as well, all the links are available on our YouTube channel, that is NCRT Official. Once again, thanking all the viewers who have been a part of this conversation. I hope this particular topic has been clear to all of you. Stay connected to NCRT. Within few minutes, we'll be back with another session. Namaskar.